Welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Hello, my nosy people. Wagwan. I hope everyone is blessed. So, Sistas is out with a new episode. So, I come on and have a rant cap. You know, my little recap / rant. So, for this episode, obviously, it was left off on a cliffhanger of is Hayden dead? And everyone's running around looking like crazy people in the office. Andy's looking very stunned. And Fatima's not looking that shocked. So, you know, Andy's a bit suspicious and kind of onto her about that and grilling at her about whether she knows more than she's letting on. She's trying to hold her corner and not say much, but Andy is definitely clocking that something isn't right here, and she reaches out to Zach because obviously, you know, she knows that Hayden had beef with Zach and with Fatima, so obviously she's thinking that they will be maybe the first kind of suspects if anything was to start to transpire. But anyway, she reaches out to Zach, says that she wants to talk to him. And he's thinking, you know, I don't want to talk about Karen. But she says, no, it's to do with, it's not about Karen. So, of course, he's gone straight to Fatima and saying, is she okay? And, you know, she brings up the fact that Hayden was murdered in the car park or is dead, basically. He could tell he's definitely shocked. And she decides she says to him, I'm going to come over to where you are. And she's going to go over to the house. So when she goes over to the house, she meets up with him. And then obviously Fatima's really there. Fatima's gone to go and speak to him about what's happened. But I like the way that Fatima then decides to obviously open up and say what happened. She's thinking she's fine, you know, no face, no crime. But she's not aware that Andy had cameras installed in the car park after the whole mix-up with Gary's ex-wife when they tried to come and rush her. So obviously Fatima doesn't know about that part until Andy tells her at Zach's house. And then, of course, Fatima tells them both about what happened, about she went to go and speak to him in the car, he's been driving her crazy, how she punched him in the face with her brass knuckles on, and, you know, the fact that he hit her back and showed them all where, you know, she's got a bit of a swelling from where he slapped her in the face. And then she then proceeds to say that, you know, that's kind of what she wanted because she had some friends waiting in the car next door just in case he did hit her, which he did. And then, you know, she made sure that those friends came to come and beat his backside. But what was key to this was that Hayden isn't dead, and she called the hospital to find out, and apparently he is not dead. And what made me laugh is Fatima's there talking about the man's like a cockroach and him can't dead. It's true. It's funny. But I really liked Zach and Fatima's banter around that whole situation. They were giving me a joke. You can see Zach's kind of proud, like, yes, my girl banged him in the face and kind of thing. It was just a little bit of joke. And I thought that was quite sweet for their little love story. And you can see Andy's looking like, well, actually these two will be quite suited and they are quite crazy. But yeah, I thought that was quite nice. And we'll see where that goes because, of course, Hayden is going to have to come round and either he's going to wake up and want to cause more problems or he's going to wake up and humble himself. But knowing how Hayden was before he got his ass beat, who knows? He might not want to humble himself at all. Plus, don't forget, he's already set certain things in motion because we still don't know who this officer-looking woman is who's been looking for Zach. So we'll see what happens there. Moving on to another storyline, which is Maurice. This storyline is getting my nerves. I feel like it's a bit of a reach. This Q guy who is calling him from jail. After you robbed him and all this kind of rubbish, like you're calling him now to say, oh, okay, you know, I've turned on the guys that I went to jail with, so he snitched on them, which means he'll get out early, and then you're giving Maurice's address to say you can go and stay there. I would in Ross. I don't understand what kind of rubbish this is. This is a big time reach, and we'll see where it goes. But to me, this is reach. This is ridiculous because Maurice should have been telling him about himself, go about your business. I'm glad Maurice kind of did. He told him to basically piss off and remove his address. But we know that's not going to be the end of it. So we'll see. And of course, in other Maurice news, you've got Calvin trying to set him up on a date with one of his gay friends, but messes that up because Maurice is not interested at all. And talking of Calvin, what in the world is he wearing? Like, what in the world? I told you already, people, that I think this man is gay, or he says, or at least bisexual, but I personally think he's more on the gay side. But again, his outfit is a no. It's very lacy, very looking like someone's neck curtains, and I'm not in it. What are you doing with that on? You're on. No. Like, can you imagine your man dressed like that come and pick you up? No. So Sabrina, my dear, there's been many red flags about this man, from his use of dildos to wearing frilly knickers, and now we've got lace curtain looking shirts. Just allow the man. Just get rid of this man. It's really a reach of a storyline as well, because I just don't see it as relatable, or I just don't see it. I just don't see it to see working. There's been too many red flags for this woman to be hanging around still waiting on Calvin, and kind of pining after Calvin. But anyway, when Andy leaves Fatima and Zach at the house, she heads over to her house. Obviously, she's got her underground car park. She's gone in and seen that there is a Rolls Royce, a brand new Rolls Royce, sitting in her. So obviously, she's a bit, like, who is parked in my space? But of course, it is Gary, who's come to surprise her and let her know that the new car in the space is actually hers, that he's bought it for her. He's trying to win her back. There's bags in the back of the car. He's telling her it's all her favourite designers, Gucci and whatever else, and the bags, if she wants the bags. There's Birkin bags in there. There's all kind of stuff, as well as jewellery. I mean, she made me laugh, and she's like, oh, yeah, I like black designers too. It was a bit randomly thrown in there just to make sure, black designers too. I was like, yes, that's right, support black. But yeah, anyway, long story short, Bugaboo Gary is trying to get back with Andy and trying to buy his way back into her life. After sending Karen a picture of the Rolls Royce, she calls. Karen's just like, well, if the car's in your name, keep it. And I think the same, considering all the stuff that he's put you through, why not keep the car? If you want to, keep it or sell it. Keep it, it's in your name, then you can sell it. You can get the money for it, can't you? And, you did put a lot of money and effort and energy into that man. So then just take the car, innit? If you want to. If you want to keep buying your stuff, that's up to him. But my question is, where was all this when you was actually dating him? That would be the question I'd be asking. Where's all this when we was actually dating, love? It took you to have to dash him away for him to come and try and, sweep you off your feet. But anyway, we all know Gary is not, to be trusted. So let's hope she doesn't go back down that road. But this is Andy, so who knows? Oh, Dani. So, of course, Dani is suspicious about this guy that was trying to chat her up at the airport. Now, she thinks that he might be sex trafficking. He's been sitting there for hours, apparently waiting for someone to come off the plane. When the girl comes off the plane, she looks kind of, like she's upset. Dani tries to stop them from going. He's, trying to, but go about his business, like saying, no, what you're doing. He makes a run for it. She calls a security guard. Dani decides to call security. He decides to make a run for it, which makes you look guilty. And then, of course, Dani took off her shoe and fling it after the man. Boom, bop, in the back of his head. He dropped down. I'm like, well, what a shot, love. She should have been doing sports. But anyway, we'll see what happens, because we want to know, is this guy really sex trafficking? What's really going on? The girl did look upset, like she wanted Dani's help. So it'll be interesting. It's we know sex trafficking is major issue worldwide. So I think it's a good topic to actually touch on. But to me, it has to be done right. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. In other Dani news, Karen, for once I have seen her salon looking busy, because the place is always looking derelict and empty. So I was like, wow, she's got customers now. But apparently, according to her receptionist, it's because someone's kind of, snitched on the person that stole all her clients in the first place. So anyway, either way, she's got some heads in chairs and people sitting there waiting to get their hair done. Something I don't think I've seen in a very long time, if at all. And anyway, how she's doing one person's hair, she's asking them about, how they're getting on. It transpires that, of course, this person's getting ready to go on a date with a white guy who happens to be very country. So ding, ding, ding. Who do you think that's going to be? Preston. So she doesn't know the guy's name. She can't remember the guy's name. But of course, Karen's thinking it must be Preston. She calls Dani to say, there's a lady in here talking about going on a good date with this guy, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Dani kind of bats it off and annoys Karen with her response. But obviously, it gets to Dani enough, because by the time the lady's finished her hair, Dani does turn up just after Preston arrived to collect said lady from Karen's hair shop. But with Karen not really knowing Preston, she can't really identify him. So of course, she's introduced herself to this guy who happens to be Preston, and, you know, asks us how they met and whatnot, and he offers to almost pay for the lady's hair, and behind him is Dani standing there, and that's kind of where it ends. So we shall see what happens there, but I just think, okay, so what, there's only one country white guy who likes black women then, so it has to be Preston. But, you know, this is the storyline that they're going with, so we will see what happens. It's clearly, you know, him growing out of Dani has made him, what, a black woman a fiend now. So he's done the whole, you know, once you go black, you never go back. So yeah, that's the Preston story. It ends there in that little cliffhanger. But overall, episode, I thought was okay. Like I said, there's some bits that I think are a reach, like the Maurice storyline. I think it's a big reach. They need to just change that. I also think Sabrina and Calvin storyline is also a bit of a reach. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. And his wardrobe, his outfits, everything. Oh, just annoying. Anyway, how would you feel if your man turned up to you with a neck curtain on as a shirt and, you know, some tight shiny bottoms? How are you feeling about that, ladies? Or gents, you might not mind that, you know, if you're gay, you might think that might be your type of thing. But again, what do you think? You know, don't you think Sabrina should have left this guy for a long time? Do you think Maurice is wasting his time with Q? When will Karen tell all the girls that she's pregnant? Fatima and Zach, we love you. We want to see more of you. And what do you guys think? Let me know. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.